This is a Suboptimal podcast. Check out our suboptimal content at suboptimal.co.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode number 25 of 2.5 Weebs. This week, we're going to be talking about Dead Man Wonderland. The first 3 episodes of that. Dead Man Wonderland is it's an anime about a kid who gets, framed
arrested
for a bunch of murders.
29 murders to be exact.
It's a lot of murders. It's at least 2.
Man, that show just kind of made me angry when it started, I'm not gonna lie.
Why? Just because of how quickly he was, in prison for... how the fuck
he
is he
gets-
going to murder 29 people?
He got railroaded super fast, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With, overwhelming evidence against it, and they just, forged a bunch of evidence. I'm like, why? Why do they want to...
Yeah,
there's
I
nothing
don't get it.
special about this kid. You're just assholes.
Yeah, I don't...
Okay, so there are a couple of big reveals in this show later on
He has dragon's blood or whatever. Yeah, I get it.
that they don't really... The first 3 episodes do not go into, but it makes a lot of sense when it does go into it.
Make you blueberry waffles in the damn freezer. You can go make them yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's just it made me irrationally angry just watching it all happen. Just what is going on? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. They're
So have you ever heard the concept of a kangaroo court?
It sounds familiar.
Yes.
Okay, so a kangaroo court is basically a trial that is set up to make the person placed on trial lose, no matter what they do, no matter the evidence contrary to what they're charged with.
Uh-huh.
It is basically a farce to give the seeming of an actual trial, which is what the case is here. So the kids put on what is essentially a kangaroo court, railroaded, and placed in the prison. Now, the prison he's sent to is called Dead Man Wonderland.
Hey, that's the name of the show.
It is the name of the show.
And it is basically rather than just a normal prison, it's basically a tourist attraction.
It's a theme park and a prison together.
Yes.
And its purpose, it's the only private prison in Japan, and its purpose is to basically help refund or fund the rebuilding of Tokyo. 10 years prior, they mentioned, Tokyo was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big event. Tokyo gets destroyed.
And they don't really go into that much. It seems like a pretty important
Not
plot
yet.
point.
It's an important plot point that comes up later. To everybody else in the show, it's
The kid blew up Tokyo.
actually a gravitational event is what they call it. It happens to Tokyo, which is a bit different from the manga. The manga calls it an earthquake. A giant, massive earthquake occurs, and Tokyo is destroyed as a result.
What a tragedy. I can't get my porn anywhere else.
Oh no.
But so basically, kid goes to jail.
Yes.
He's not even an adult. What is he, 15? 14, 15?
He is 14. He is placed in a...
It doesn't make
He's
sense.
placed in this prison. This prison houses the most dangerous criminals
in the world.
No, in
Yeah.
Well, in
pretty
Japan,
much the world.
sorry.
They get as many as they can from everywhere.
My favorite part was when they did the race and everyone died.
Yes.
Okay, so
how
I'm
many
going to
people
concede
died?
this
It
magic
was
game
a
so I can
lot.
focus. So it starts off with they're supposed to go visit this prison as a field trip. The prison is also, aside from being a prison, and the way it generates money as a private business for rebuilding Tokyo, is that it also functions as a theme park.
Mm-hmm.
So people go there to see spectacles and events and stuff like that. That's all put on by the prisoners. Now, these aren't everybody, these aren't just people on death row. This is a massive prison where they gather as many people into it as possible. People who, like petty criminals, any type of crime can get you sent here. And the way it works is that when you're in the prison as a prisoner, you can work to reduce your sentence by taking part in these things. And you're required to work in these things if you want to do even basic things like eat. So they put on shows and stuff like that. So when our kid gets sent here for murder, he finds out that the shows, the spectacles with those super great, special effects, aren't special effects. They're people who are actually dying and being injured in these events, and the guards can pretty much do whatever they want to people who are in the prison. And the government just kind of goes along with it because it's,
as you can see, it's fair and balanced.
So there are reasons for that, which come up later past these episodes that we actually watched, when you find out more about what's actually going on. They also go more into about the earthquake that destroyed Tokyo, more into who the Red Man is, and what's going on with the kid. And the guy you see at the very end of episode 3.
Right.
So he gets sent to this prison, and the director of the prison turns out to be his public defender.
Man,
yes, I forgot about that.
Nothing fishy whatsoever.
Definitely not.
So-
How the fuck do people not realize that? Like, there's more plot holes. Like, who?
Because he's not actually the director of the prison. It's not actually a plot hole. He's in charge of the prison because he's the second in command there, basically. The actual director of the prison, as far as everybody is concerned, is another person who you have not met yet.
Mm-hmm.
He makes, was it episode 2 when they're having that conference? At the very, I think it's at one of the start of the episodes. He mentions that.
No idea.
Well, it occurs. There's the conference where he's there with like other people. There's a guy from the military, stuff like that. They ask where the director is because it's not him, right? He mentions that the walking corpse is somewhere else because the director of the prison is actually very, very old, and that he's in charge. So he brings the kid in for a particular reason and basically tries to kill him a couple of times.
Why though?
Once in the-
What is? Do we have reason why?
So you noticed how they basically gather the kid there because the kid survives an attack by the Red Man, right?
Right.
At the very start, where it murders all of his classmates. So
Yes.
that's where the murders come in.
Yes, please remind me more of this. Continue.
That he's blamed for. And as a survivor, he's interested in him in that reason. So he takes him into the prison, basically sets him up, gets him in the prison, and then stages an accident to kill him as a test. And the test reveals that he has abilities, and you'll learn what they're called later, that set him apart. So, which is what he really wanted. He either wanted the kid to go away because he'd be a loose end that served no purpose, or if he survived the accident in the only way possible by demonstrating abilities, then he's got another person for something that he's working with.
Okay, and we don't know information about who the Red Man is and like how that came from and like what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
with it
there's
yet.
no information about that yet. That's one of the mysteries of the show that actually gets solved. You're actually
Spoilers.
super close to the reveal of who the Red Man is and kind of what's going on. It's in like episode 4 or 5 or 6, like the next 3 episodes. You get some information there. So he has abilities where he can use his blood to create basically what amounts to a giant bullet. So he survives the accident.
Okay.
So they're like, oh, great. And so they have a event called the dog race. It's basically an obstacle course that's not supposed to be normally lethal. That normal prisoners take part in to earn basically a premium currency in the prison so they can buy things such as food, better accommodations, stuff like that. And
The ability to survive.
The ability to survive.
We didn't really
and-
touch on it, but all death row inmates every 3 days have to spend 100,000 of these credits to buy a candy that keeps them from dying.
Or you can win the candies themselves.
Or yeah,
Yep. So you either have, because every inmate wears a collar that tracks their vital signs, their location, has a built-in taser, and in the case of death row inmates, it's constantly pushing poison into their veins through it. So they're constantly being poisoned over the course of 3 days. And if they don't take an antidote by the 3rd day, they die. So the kid goes to take part in this race, and the director gets tipped off to it that he's going to be taking part by a snitch in the prison. And so he has them.
Who has been in there from the beginning and is like, he was the first person that the main character. What's the main character's name again? I forget.
Ganta.
Ganta. He's like the first person he runs into.
Literally the guy runs into Ganta so he could open his bag and steal his candy in it.
Yeah.
Because every death row inmate is given 1 candy for free when they first arrive, so that at least they live for 6 days in the prison.
Right.
So he steals his candy. Ganta doesn't know because he just arrived. He actually gets punished for it by the warden because he won't give up what he stole. So the warden hits him with a sword, like full on hits him with a sword. Sends him to the emergency room.
Yeah, almost kills him.
As should be noted, if anybody who is curious about watching the show, this show does have a good bit of violence in it and language and some other stuff.
It's relatively graphic about the violence as well.
Yes. It's actually even more graphic, but because this got shown on television and you're probably not going to be watching the DVD release where it's not edited, some of the gore stuff is actually blacked out, especially during the first scene in episode 1, which is something they do to get stuff by censors.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
This show is called Dead Man Wonderland.
So they go to the race. The kid takes part. The director, having heard about it, has them turn up the obstacles to their maximum setting, which makes almost every single obstacle in the dog race, which is supposed to be harmful but not lethal, absolutely lethal. Like there's
devastating.
Yeah, so it kills like dozens of people. They don't allow anybody to quit halfway through, which is a normal thing they're allowed to do. Anybody who tries to quit gets shot.
Because that's fair.
And then at the end, there's actually no winner at the end for the 100,000 credit prize because he opts to save the life of a girl he met previously who
seems to
who claims that she knows him.
She seems to be some sort of experiment or something. I don't know. It's weird.
She's one of the other mysteries of the show because when you first meet her, before he arrives at the prison, she knows he's coming to the prison and says his name. Like she's excited that he's coming. And when he's there and working, she introduces herself. But she says she already knows him and that they're friends. But he has no idea who she is. Later on, you find out why that is as well and what's going on there. And then episode 3, we have the Red Man show up again. And due to that, the warden goes a little overboard with security measures and basically sends a killer robot after the kid. And they end up discovering the secret location on site, which is cell block G, which is where the special prisoners are kept.
We also mentioned the fact that as soon as he ran into the mystery Red Man, he also used his powers to be able to.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he fought against the Red Man basically.
He attacked the Red Man
out of his hands or whatever.
It's blood.
Yeah,
he shot blood out at his blood out at the Red Man, but it didn't do anything. It's also why he collapses right after, because he uses so much blood in his attacks, because he has no idea what he's doing, that he's actually pulling blood from his body, so putting himself into a state of anemic shock and passes out.
Yeah.
So this show is, I don't know how the English voices are because I've never even try to see if there's an English
I
version.
didn't find a dub.
I
I
didn't
didn't
look.
look super hard.
Yeah, I didn't look.
I
The show is from 2013, so there might be one, but I wouldn't bet on
who
it.
knows?
Animation's good in the show. It is very violent, very graphic, even with the edits.
The entire dog race was really violent.
Yes, and a good chunk of that is blacked out editing, and it's still violent.
Yeah.
Same thing with the first scene in episode 1. They blacked out a good chunk of that, which is I've seen the like a less edited version than when I watched around this time, and it's a lot more gory. So yeah,
Interesting.
the show is violent. It's got a couple of mysteries in it. The characters are interesting. Ganta is a bit of a wuss, but he's also a 14-year-old thrown into
Prison.
a giant prison
Yeah,
where
it-
he's
like,
expected
I-
to kind of die.
I
So
would typically-
his reactions are kind of normal. Like,
I guess.
he doesn't know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
he just witnessed the murder of all of his classmates, including his best friends. He's been thrown through this kangaroo court of a trial, finds out that it was a farce to begin with.
Freaking kangaroos. Am I right?
All this, then there's the prison is trying to kill him, and he's been poisoned. So if he doesn't eat these candies every 3 days, he dies.
Right.
So his reactions are normal. The girl, Shiro, is weird, but she's very childlike. So you find out more about that as well. So
Yeah, pretty much.
overall, though, I do like this show.
I really enjoyed the concept of it. Which I feel like is the thing that I do now is I like the concepts but not the characters. So I like the
Makes-
concept. I
makes
don't quite
sense.
like the characters, but I'm interested. I'll keep watching a little bit of it. I'll suffer.
Ganta gets less annoying
Good.
as he goes through. Shiro, a little less annoying. But you find out more about her and what's going on there, so she makes a little more sense.
Well, that's good because right now she's just a screaming child.
Yeah, you're wondering why she's there, and because she doesn't have a collar on. She's obviously not a prisoner, but she lives at the prison. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. So, Dale, what did you think of this?
I'm gonna go with I like the idea. Like if this was not an anime, I would probably enjoy it very much. But I don't know.
This would be expensive to
This
make.
just in, Dale likes watching videos that aren't animated of kids stuck in prison.
Look, you're hey, is what it
Yeah,
is.
right, Cherry? Wow, I can't believe you.
Hey, some kids deserve to be in prison.
Now, I won't deny that one. That one makes it to round 2.
But yeah, it's an interesting show. It's not for everybody. But if you like as I said last week, if you like The Promised Neverland, you'll probably like this show.
Yeah. No, I can see those parallels for sure.
If you like, shows with like a mystery to them about what's gonna happen, what's going on, this is probably a good one for you as well. The only issue here is this manga is done. There is not a second season of the show. So if you like the show and you get to the end of it, and you want to find out the rest of what happens, because there are a couple other story arcs, as well as a complete finale. They didn't end this manga on a cliffhanger or anything like that. They wrap everything up.
Wow, that is more than I expect.
Yeah, that's more than
I'll
you
be
get
honest.
from a lot of mangas and stuff like that. But this is a complete has a beginning, middle, end, whole way through. I think there's like 3 story arcs, so it's not super long. But if you want to watch, see the rest of what occurs and the final wrap up of everything, you're going to have to read the manga afterwards.
I'll
But
find the
because,
Spark Notes.
well, because this is older, there are copies around like online and stuff like that. So, and even legally, like you can find this places where manga is, because it's older. It's usually out there for free and not very much. It's not hard to find.
Yeah. And I know even websites like Crunchyroll have services where they
Yes.
show manga.
I don't know if Crunchy has this on there. I never actually checked.
I know they have a service where they do manga. I don't know if they have this one specifically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they have manga for sure. I've
Yeah.
never actually made use of it, which is weird because I have a Crunchyroll subscription.
Yeah, I haven't made use of it either. It's something that I've thought about, but I don't have time to read. Are you kidding me? What kind of nerd?
I'm actually going to take a quick look. Deadman Wonderland. Shows. No, I don't think they have it on there. You okay there? Good. Yeah, they don't have it on Crunchy. Oh wait, no, there it is. So yeah, the show is on there,
Yeah, that's where I watched the show, I believe.
but I don't think the manga is on there.
Which is pretty much what I expected, honestly. But, there's Crunchyroll has a lot, but things just get so split up now. It's hard to know. All right. So, pretty solid on how we feel about that show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like there
it,
are.
but it's just not something I probably won't keep up with it. I don't know. It doesn't. It's not bad at all, but just
Yeah,
It's not bad. It's just not good.
yeah.
I like it personally. I would recommend this to certain people.
I'll watch it. I'm actually interested in it.
Yeah.
There
It's
are
interesting for sure.
it's like 13 volumes.
Jeez.
But some of them are like extras. And a volume is basically like, a comic. So
Yeah.
like there's like 57 comics in total. So this is not a long series if you're looking to read it.
Yeah, that's definitely shorter than a lot of other series I've read, like Attack on Titan.
Yeah. And
like,
if
Attack
you
on Titan started at 50.
Yeah, and if you watch the show, because this is actually a pretty good adaptation, like it sticks pretty close. You can probably skip a bunch of the stuff up the front because you're gonna have covered it watching the show. It's just the final you didn't get to watch. And the other show we had to go over was episode 4 of Vinland Saga.
Oh man, can I talk about spoilers now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thor's fucking died.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay, now we were expecting this just because
we
the
were
synopsis for the show.
hoping.
The synopsis for the show made it seem like he was going to die in episode 1. To be honest,
honestly, yeah. He made
it took to episode 4, which tells me this is going to be a longer running show.
I like that. I like the
watched
show.
it with a friend, and I was like, "Yeah, this character's supposed to fucking die," and he was like, "Well, all right." How do you know that? I was like, "It's in the description for the show."
It's in the description for the show, so it's like he didn't die in episode 1. Usually, when they say that, they die in episode 1. Nope, episode 4.
Yeah, he died in episode 4. I'm surprised it took so long.
This tells me that this show is probably gonna be 48 episodes or longer.
48?
I'm about it.
Probably, yeah. This is gonna be a long run show.
48
now
for one season.
Will we get all of those in one season? No, we'll probably get 24.
Okay.
So
Probably won't get all of them, honestly.
Season 1 might be 24 episodes, and then we may never get a season 2 because anime.
I
That's how it
think
works.
that we're going to get season 1, and then we're not going to get a season 2 because it's not going to attract enough eyes because it's on fucking Amazon service.
Yeah, I think that's gonna hurt it. Now,
that's my thought
the
process.
Only thing about that is that Amazon may have paid up front. for
I don't think they would. I think they're doing the Netflix thing where they're investing in stuff, but they're not committing.
maybe. Given who's making this one, though, they may have invested a little heavier in it as a bet, because it's the Attack on Titan people, and that kind of blew up out of nowhere. So they may have thrown a little more money at it because it is Amazon. They will do that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, I mean, they did it with Twitch when they bought Twitch, like for what, $900 million or something stupid. So,
What's Twitch?
spending the money to get 2 seasons up front of an anime that might explode, not bad, like cost wise. I can see it happening. So, I hope it does because I am enjoying this show so far.
Oh yeah, me too. It's pretty cool. So yeah, in the beginning of episode 4, it's the enemy pirates, the pirates that are coming to murder Thors, who have been hired by Floki. They're here. So it's the entire episode of basically Thor's just like beating the shit out of them all.
Yeah.
Like he
They
beats
have
them
no
all
chance.
with his fists, just beats their asses. Even the dude who's on steroid mushrooms gets his ass kicked in like 2 seconds.
It's like The Rock dealing with like toddlers. Like,
Yeah.
that's how much of a threat these people have to Thors.
Yeah. And then he ends up fighting the ship captain, the captain of the pirates, who all the pirates are like, he's gonna beat his ass, and he beats him too. But then he gets shot with like 800 arrows from the dudes on the cliff. Which
he accepts
honestly, what would he have done if the steroid mushroom guy hadn't taken his son?
But yeah, so what happens is during the fight, Thor's basically destroys both swords.
He destroys one
And-
and then he throws one into the ocean.
Well, they're
Mhm.
both really wrecked. But that was his plan all along, to destroy one sword, have only one remaining, disarm the captain, and then hold him at sword point, to force the surrender, because Thor's didn't want to kill him. And he says, well, unless you kill me, I'm not surrendering, and this is just going to keep going on forever. At that point, the guy who was on the berserker mushroom wakes up from being unconscious, jumps over, grabs his kid, and holds a knife to the kid's throat.
As you do when you wake up from your normal nap.
Of a note, that actually violates the rules of the duel they're having.
Yes.
And as a penalty, Thor's automatically wins. Even though he'd won already, the guy just hadn't surrendered. But that forces the win in the eyes of everybody. But they're pirates and mercenaries, so they don't particularly care.
Which, pirates.
So Thor throws the sword away, agrees that, they'll purchase his life, basically, which is what they were sent to do, but he won't stop them or attempt to kill any of them. But the captain has to abide by the rules of the duel, because Thor's won. What that means is that the captain has to let the rest of everybody else there, so Leif Erikson and his people, the 4 people he brought, the 4 kids young men he brought from the village, and his son go.
Yes.
So they're not going to become slaves, they get released instead. So the captain agrees. And then the archers who are up on the cliff tops fire arrows, which, land in Thor's and all around him. He then tells, people a couple of things and dies. And then, because there's not enough people to man one of the boats, everybody goes over to Eric's boat and they're allowed to leave. And it's revealed that Thorfinn snuck aboard the other boat and hid in
Oh
it.
man, the smartest
again.
fucking character.
So, because the pirates took that boat because it had been left behind, because there wasn't enough people to row it now,
Thorfinn is now on the.
he's on that boat being pulled along behind these pirates, which is
He's
how
just
he gets.
sitting there holding a knife, going, "I'm gonna stab him."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm going to kill you," is basically what it is. And
yeah,
the captain is also kind of confused somewhat that, despite the fact that Thor's jumped on one of their warships and beat the shit out of everybody on it. That there was people who were injured, like I think it was 29 men injured, but nobody was killed.
Yeah, and he couldn't
during the
couldn't
fights
believe
with
it.
Thor's. And he's like, which he realizes Thor's dead on purpose.
Yeah, Thor just doesn't want to murder people.
That he didn't want to kill anybody, so he just simply knocked them out or disarmed them.
Yeah.
There's even
Just
one guy
gave them an extra long nap.
There's one guy who actually even falls into the ocean, and because these people all wear armor, and armor is extremely heavy, Thor's actually throws him an oar, so the guy doesn't drown.
For what?
To hold on to.
Yeah. So now it seems like Thorfinn's about to get raised by pirates.
I think they're probably going to end up selling him into slavery.
Seems more realistic.
So either they're going to sell him into slavery, or they're just going to let somebody else do it.
Maybe.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Because
Ask a lad, he's really into that shit.
right now, their plan is to leave him on the other boat that they're dragging along behind their boats, and see if he dies of starvation or dehydration. Like that's what they're currently do. They're like, leave him there, he'll die. It's just how the episode ends. So
What a proper ending.
We should see Thorfinn getting either sold somewhere or picked up by somebody to learn how to fight, because he's literally 6 at this point.
Yeah.
Is he 6? Jeez.
He's 6.
Yeah. Yep.
I knew
They
he was
mentioned
young. I
that
didn't know
he's
he was
6.
that young.
Yeah, they specifically mentioned his age before. They say that he's 6.
When was the last time I ever actually paid attention to a show we were watching?
I know.
Same.
During the opening, though, it does show him as older. So it looks at some point like we're gonna get
skip.
Yeah, we're gonna get a time skip. It looks
Probably.
like he's a young teenager or something like that at that point. So
yeah,
I think they're gonna set up how he learns to fight and then do a time skip.
Then do it,
when he already knows.
then we'll probably get a training montage. Yeah, we'll probably get a training montage, and then
Look, I'm about montages. It's cool.
100%. No, we'll get
Even
him on.
Rocky had a montage.
so again,
Da-da-da.
got a good episode from the show so far.
Yeah.
It is a little slower paced, but it doesn't seem like that when you're watching the show. The reason I say I say it's slower paced is because, again, we just got to the point where Thor's died, and that's literally mentioned in the description of the show when you first open it anywhere, if you bother to read it. So that should give you an idea of the pacing of the show. They're taking their time to set up character development and explain things of who's who and what's going on, which is nice. So they're not rushing through stuff.
Right.
So this continues to be a show I would recommend.
So far, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to see.
It's been a very good show. Specifically in this episode, when they were doing their actual fight finally after so long, I thought that there was just some really clean animation that they did on the side of Askeladd when he was ducking under the he was ducking under the sails.
Yeah.
That was such a clean shot, and the way they did the sweeping shot was super good.
Yeah, so Askeladd's idea of how to kill Thor's during their duel is to open it with a surprise attack. So because they're standing on each side of the mast, he cuts the rope, and basically the mainsail falls, taking everything with it, and he ducks underneath of it and slashes Thor's, but Thor's anticipated him once he saw that he disappeared, and so leans backwards, and the cut is too shallow. At which point he's on the defensive for the rest of the fight. And that's probably only because Thor's didn't want to kill him. Because how that fight went, if Thor's wanted to kill him, he would have just killed him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that it was definitely, implied, 100%.
But yeah, for me this week, both are definitely recommend shows. The first one with the caveat of it's only going to be good for certain people. This Vinland Saga, so far, there are some people I can see not liking this. because of the setting, the fact that there's no fantastical elements or stuff like that.
100%.
I think that's
And
why I
it is a little
enjoy it. It's
slower than
like-
some other stuff,
it's-
but
it's like
still an excellent show. I would recommend giving it a try. See if you like it.
Yeah.
So far, it's been quite good. So overall, good week for anime.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
good time.
you know what else
I
has been
even
a good
watched
week
a,
for?
I watched another one the other day too that
I don't know. What are you going to
What we can
talk
go into.
about? Is it something important?
I was gonna say it's been a really good week for Mixer too, because you know, hey,
What's a
Comfy, have you
Mixer?
ever heard of a little tiny streamer named Ninja?
Yeah, I actually used to watch his big brother Dr. Lupo stream.
Dr. Lupo. That's the guy who got all of his Prime subs, right? When he left.
I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, those Prime
Straight
subs are
up,
those Prime subs are going to 3 people: Tim the Tatman, Dr. Lupo, and Courage. That's what they're going.
Tifu went live the day that Ninja announced his move to Mixer as
Oh yeah, Tifu is going to get
the
a part of them too.
Ninja of Twitch.
Yeah, nice.
I thought was very funny. Lupo will assume the throne, pretty much. It's assumed.
Yeah. Lupo is definitely going to be.
Lupo. The thing is, too, like nobody really thinks about Lupo as who would be that next spot. Like, I think the initial like thought process is like Doc, but Doc's not as big as Lupo is.
Doc isn't as marketable.
Right?
Yes.
No,
Lupo.
not at all. He's not marketable at all right now.
No,
'Cause
He's
here's the
had
thing.
Too many.
The reason Mixer went out of their way to get Ninja
Yeah.
is because Ninja,
Is marketable.
unlike anybody else for the huge streamers, to the degree that he is marketable.
Yeah.
If you're looking at who's marketable in terms of streamers, you've got Ninja, then Dr. Lupo, and then I would say Tim the Tatman.
I'm not even sure about Tim the Tatman.
Tim is actually quite marketable, which isn't super surprising. Tim doesn't really swear that much. The games he plays are pretty much the same ones that Lupo and them play as well.
Right.
And he's got a extremely attractive personality for marketers because he's very, very personable, which is something they like.
You bring up an excellent point.
Because personality matters quite a bit.
Man, that must explain why I've never gone anywhere with my streaming.
Might be why. Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
Ninja moved to Mixer. That's the big thing that everybody's freaking out about. And it's, like not going to change that much.
You'll see a number
We'll see more eyes on the
of
platform.
yeah, for the next little bit, there's going to be a number of eyes on the platform, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I've been noticing it in various streams. You have a bunch of new people who are new to Mixer,
Oh
who
yeah. It's been
are
great.
not only like over here for Fortnite, they came over because they're Ninja fans, which is awesome. And in addition to that, they've also decided to check out other games that they're enjoying. So if they're into, Destiny or whatnot, they'll also check out who streams Destiny and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And various things, which is really cool.
It's good for the platform.
Yeah, this is good for the platform overall.
No, yeah, it's been great. Like I was playing even Fire Emblem, and people were like, "Hey, I'm brand new to Mixer." It's like, "Oh, hey, great, good to see you." So like,
Welcome to the platform.
yeah, like even at that point, we're seeing new influx of people. And yesterday, I talked to probably like maybe a dozen or more people, if not way more, that were like, "Hey, I'm brand new here."
Oh yeah, they're all over the place. It's great.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
it's fantastic. It feels really good. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be good for Ninja actually as well. And
Absolutely.
I know.
He's going to be able to now have.
he can do what he wants now. He can
yeah.
step away from Fortnite. He doesn't have to be just the Fortnite guy.
Right. Yeah.
Because we have a new Halo coming out.
Yep.
Ninja is historically very big in the Halo community. This allows him to
Like, he was
become
a pro for
that's
years in
why
Halo
he's
Reach.
that's why. This allows him to become, the face of the new Halo game, the face for Microsoft and Mixer, which is a large deal.
Yeah.
And that's a huge career move for him. Is he going to make as much money from subs and stuff over here as he would on Twitch? No. Does he need money? No.
Yeah, people
which
have
is,
been like asking us like, oh, how much money do you think they offered Ninjas? Like, I really don't think they offered him a whole lot. I think they offered him stability, and that's what he jumped at.
I think that's what it was. I think they offered him a salary. That's probably a few million a year. I think that they offered him probably stock in both Microsoft and Mixer to sweeten the deal.
Yep.
And they probably also gave him a advisory position in terms of
Platform development.
platform development.
Interesting.
Because those are the things that will bring over a ton of people easily. Like that's a super easy way to get people to move platforms.
But people keep being like, oh man, I bet they gave him like $20 million. It's like,
I've
no.
seen estimates running from as little as 10 million to as much as $100 million. And here's the thing. He may have gotten closer to the 100 million than anything else, but the majority of that is probably in stock.
Yeah,
It would not take a lot of
well, because the thing is too, Mixer doesn't even need to give up that much stock to give him a fuckload of money, because the
Microsoft
value
can give him
that he
stock.
brings
Right.
to the platform just by being there is more than worth it.
It's they probably gave him a partnership. They may even give him a partnership share in the Mixer. Like it wouldn't take much.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like there's so many ways that the deal could have been made. I don't think there's any real use speculating.
No, this is good for him long term, and this is his exit strategy from streaming.
Yeah, which if anybody's been listening to Professor Broman recently, he's been talking about find your exit strategy, because streaming is around right now, and it could be around for the next 10, 20, 30 years, or it could disappear next week.
Yep.
And that sounds very like doomsayer, but like that's the reality of it. And so because of that, streamers need to have a way that they can make money without streaming. For Professor Broman and Gathalion and K Magic 101, like that's Rare Drop for them. That's their company that they're working on. Ninja now has Mixer as his out.
Yep, they do.
Great.
And it's it's a big deal. Like more so than people realize, that you need to have an exit strategy from a business like this. Like it's just something you require.
This like streaming is such a volatile and unstable business. If you don't have an exit strategy, you will fail later.
Yeah, that's just the way it's gonna go. It's
somebody a Wi-Fi password.
All right. So any thoughts on what we're going to be watching next week? Have you guys thought
next
of
week
something you'd like to watch?
I had a thought based on a show I just actually watched. I'll have to find the name of it. Just give me a minute or two and I'll grab that.
Okay.
Because it's one of the newer shows, so I started watching it to see.
Are
if it was
you
any
enjoying
good.
it, or you hate it, and then you're just gonna make?
No, I ended up enjoying it. It's actually quite good. So let me see here. They just had a new episode come out, I think, not that long ago. So, there it is. Copy. So that's the name. Copy the name.
Katsute Kami Dada. Okay, yeah. God damn it. It's got to be.
Hold on. In English, the name it's not a sentence. It's To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts in English.
That's still really long, though.
It's a little long.
It's a bit. Okay. All right. Anyway, what's it about?
So, on a new continent that is discovered in this world, people go over to, colonize it, and then eventually they find a new power source there, and it sparks a civil war between the country that had formed there between the North and South.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the North is actually very outnumbered and is going to basically lose the war. So they use they call technology in here in the show to basically give a bunch of people that form a special army unit superpowers. These powers allow them to shift into the forms of mythical beasts. So things like a behemoth, a dragon. There's a guy who turns into this rhino-like monster, or just like a harpy, stuff like that. And using these soldiers who are incredibly difficult to kill, due to both like some of them being giant, having special powers, and the fact that they're actually tougher regardless. The North starts winning the war, like destroying the Southern units. Like it's not a contest, and some of them start dying. But the more they use their abilities, the more like that mythical creature they become. So they start losing their humanity, and their body starts permanently mutating towards that form. Like the gargoyle, the guy who turns into a gargoyle, his body starts literally turning to stone. The dragon guy eventually gets stuck as a full dragon, so he can't speak or anything like that. He's just a massive dragon, so he has to find food. And eventually they lose their human mind as well and just turn into the beast. So in case of things that are, monstrous things that kill people as rampaging monsters, that's what they become. So the first time it happens on a battlefield, where a guy loses complete control and becomes is overwhelmed by the thing he turns into, and he starts killing indiscriminately around him. Like they'd already won the battle, so they were taking prisoners. He starts murdering the prisoners, and his soldiers from his own side around him. And so he eventually gets stopped because they shoot him with cannons. Because his own side, the regular soldiers freak out and shoot him with cannons, which doesn't actually kill him. That's how strong these guys are. But it does greatly injure him. Not wanting to lose control of himself anymore, he actually commits suicide.
Oh.
The captain.
Spoilers. What episode is this?
I've watched the first 5 episodes, so that occurs somewhere in there.
Okay.
But this just kind of explains the setup. So what the captain then promises is that as each of them loses their minds, which will happen eventually to all of them apparently, that they'll be responsible for killing one another. And so that's the setup. And the synopsis of the show is that he's going around killing people, and he gets joined by another character who's the daughter of one of these people. They're called incarnates. And she's trying to find out why he's going around and doing this and killing his own people. Because the regular population doesn't realize that these guys go insane and start, doing things that are evil. So he's taking care of it because the war has ended, and they're at peace now. So he's trying to protect that and protect, the normal citizenry from them because they're now such a liability and such a danger. So that was a very interesting show. It's quite good. It has direct, how good is this show versus the other show we watched, the Fairygon. So this is that concept that Fairygon had done right.
Okay.
And it doesn't have crappy 3D animation.
I think Comfy might be muted.
Comfy is definitely muted. Comfy,
Maybe
did
he
you,
doesn't
have,
realize.
did you have any
Definitely not muted.
thoughts on something you wanted to see, Comfy, or subject Dale to?
Not really. I've heard about the abandoned sacred beasts or whatever. I've heard people talking about it. Cherry said he'd been talking about it. I'm interested in it. I will definitely watch it, regardless. So might as well make it homework,
That way you can do two things at once.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Well, what is this on? Is this on Crunchyroll by chance?
I watched it on my couch, so yes.
Lovely. I can actually
He's like doing
hang out
the
on
math
couch.
with where he was at the time.
Like what?
Yeah, I had to give it a little bit of thought.
Okay.
You got a problem with that? You got a problem with that?
Dale, you got a problem?
No.
I think Comfy has a problem with me having to go, where was I watching this at? I mean, to be fair, I spend the majority of my day in my office.
Oh man, look at me. I get to spend all time inside and nobody misses me. It's a great time.
It's a great time.
Well, maybe someday we'll get to work inside all day.
You
Maybe
do work
maybe
inside,
one
Dale.
day. As for now, I just don't have a job.
That's true.
That's
But like, it's
Not nice in where you work, yes, I know.
No. It's kind of leaning towards a more self-employed kind of stuff, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
nothing matters at the end of the day.
Anywho,
Am I right? Anywho's.
Huh? Never mind.
What?
Okay, so what have you guys been up to this week? Anything fun?
An insane amount of work, which I still have to do. I finally started my Destiny grind for my Solstice armor yesterday.
I finally started that yesterday too.
I have played a lot of Halo and not a lot of Destiny, and then I got sick.
Yeah, I heard you were sick.
That sucked.
So
Ooh,
I've finished 1.5 Halo games.
That's
I will
cool.
finish all of them as is tradition.
As a tradition.
I'm just waiting for the PC Halo. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I want Reach to come out soon. I want to
Same.
play it.
Me too.
I really miss Reach.
Uh-huh.
I have still not played anything past the first Halo.
Well, once it hits the Xbox PC Game Pass and you can play like all the Halos, it's gonna be great.
Then I would have to have the Game Pass, which I don't have.
I have so many codes for this fucking Game Pass. You have no idea.
Very nice.
I'm just exploring other people's houses in Minecraft. So, Dale, what have you been up to?
I was playing through some Fire Emblem, which is a lot longer than I was expecting it to ever be. Holy crap. I didn't realize it was going to be like a 100-hour game, so surprise. It's really good, though. It's the first time I played a Fire Emblem game. I've been enjoying it. Have you played that before, Comfy?
I've never played a Fire Emblem game.
Okay.
I played Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game,
Uh-huh.
but that's it.
Got it.
So, and that is it's just a
Mobile game.
dumber, shorter version of Fire Emblem.
Okay. So yeah, it's been that.
But it might not have all the great talking sequences where you have to run around.
It doesn't have all the great talking.
Stop. That's the worst. That's like
Like
I
Fire Emblem characters in Smash, it's basically the same thing. Thanks, Red.
yeah, like I've been enjoying it, but like I logged
But
in the
less
other
shipping.
day and I had like an hour and a half worth of dialogue to sit through. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah,
It's
that can
awkward
be a
to
little-
stream.
I'm trying to think of what game I was playing recently that was like that. I was playing some game where literally Persona. So Persona
Yeah.
is super fun.
It has a
There's a
ton of running around. Yeah,
There's a lot of dialogue and a lot of running around.
and you have to
So-
pay attention to the dialogue in that game.
Because the dialogue is important. Which it is part of the game. Like that sounds like a complaint, but that's part of the game. That's what makes it fun.
But it makes it hard to focus on chat.
Exactly. But so I'm playing like Persona 5 and I'm like, cool, I have 4 hours to play. That means I can do this and possibly start the next dungeon or whatever. And then I spend 4 hours talking to people and doing daily life of a high school boy simulator.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what it is with
Which is great. It's awesome. I love Persona. It's super fun. But man, like I log in thinking I'll be making progress, and then I only progress like 3 days because I had to have super long talking points with every character that I dealt with.
Yep. That's how I feel with Fire Emblem, where it's like if I stream, because I'll try to do like maybe 5 or 6 hours a night, and there was literally a day where I did 2, maybe 3 battles. I was like, what the fuck?
That's an oof.
It is
like that happened.
and it's it makes it awkward to stream because you just sit there for so long just listening to the dialogue, and you don't want to talk over the dialogue, so it's an awkward.
You don't want to talk over the
game.
dialogue in case it's important.
Right. So like
But-
you just sit there quietly for like an hour, just like, why are people watching this? Because I'm not being engaging whatsoever. So I don't know, but it's still fun. I want to get through it, but shit, I don't know.
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
I mean, I'll try to get through it. I should be able to. It's just a matter of when. Because I also decided to finally try Team Fight Tactics, which is pretty fun.
I've never heard anyone say it like you just said it, and it was really intriguing.
So yeah, it's super fun.
What do you
Everybody
mean?
I've heard is like, yeah, it's Team Fight Tactics, and you're like, Team Fight Tactics.
I'm sorry I enunciated.
Don't
in a weird way.
apologize. Don't apologize.
Well, look,
Good.
anyway, I got
I'll
second
be
place
sorry.
just now in the game I was playing during the podcast, which is pretty cool.
I'm very proud.
So there's that. So not actual garbage at it. Or I just got really lucky. I don't know. Maybe both.
Why not both?
Why not both? But yeah. It's because Red coached a little bit.
Mm.
I need to get into Team Fight Tactics now.
No, like the thing was the game I was playing earlier, Red, I ended up with like 3 sorcerers, 3 yodels, and a knight, and then I had a Shen, and I was literally 79 HP against one other person who had 19, and he just ended up with a bunch of gold units, and he came back and won because I was like, I have like 2 golds and everybody else is just silver, and he had like 4 or 5 golds. It's like, well, maybe not 4 or 5, but he had a lot more, and then I got murdered. I get all 6 yodels.
I have no idea what any of this means, and it's terrifying me.
Yeah. Well, have you played League, Comfy?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, like a lot, or
I used to be silver. Ugh. It was me
Okay.
clipping my hair with attitude.
okay. Well, so yeah, like so now I want to play more Team Fight Tactics. I want to play more Magic the Gathering. I want to play more Destiny 2 because I got to get my my fucking shit.
I need to hop into the EAZ.
You
I haven't
need to
spent
what?
a whole lot of time there. The EAZ.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I also want to try to plug through Fire Emblem, so I'm like, man.
And you've got a month to do it in.
Right? I don't have time for that. I
Because
ain't got
Borderlands comes
time.
out next month, and then October
Mm.
we now have Shadowkeep in October.
Yay! Oh man,
I'm super excited
So,
about the delay. It's gonna be. It's
Shadow
gonna.
Keep was delayed, and immediately everybody was like, "Okay, cool, sure."
Yeah,
like,
everybody's like, "Oh, thank God."
let's make it good. Luke
Yeah.
Smith said we think we should delay it, and everybody was like, "Cool, delay it." Literally, nobody was like, "Oh man, Destiny is ruined. They're delaying it. Can't you tell?" Which made me happy.
Yeah. Same.
But
Same.
so we know the date of the raid now as well, which is going to be on a Saturday. It's amazing.
Oh, how long after
Oh,
launch
that's
is it?
great, actually.
It's the Saturday after launch. They have contest mode. They're gonna have contest mode active again. So I guess that worked out.
What day is the content launching? Is it on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I believe the content is launching on the 1st and the raid is launching on the 5th.
Which is why a lot of people who want to do the raid probably want to get their armor completely masterworked.
Yeah.
Right.
People are also you know what people were mad about was that they changed the date with not a whole lot of time before because people had already requested days off for work and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Which
But-
they said like we're super fucking sorry about this.
Yeah,
Like,
they
fine.
would be like, they're going to be sorry about that. But if a game gets delayed because it needs the time to bake,
It's
it's
worth it.
delayed. Like, there's a reason they're doing it.
Yeah. You know what I absolutely hate in video games?
chickens following you.
Escort missions.
Right. He's leading some chickens to their
I've
death.
been leading 2 chickens back to my house in Minecraft for the past 10 minutes.
That's another game I've never played, Minecraft.
Minecraft? Really?
I couldn't. It's the art style. I just,
What, you don't like big and blocky?
no.
All right.
At least not for Minecraft. Like, Dragon Quest Builders is still kind of blocky, but it's not all blocks, so it's better in my
Oh
estimation.
man, Dragon Quest Builders is better. Ugh. Never played it. Forget who I watched play it.
It was Kaylee, maybe?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think I was watching Kaylee play it.
Yeah. She was streaming it while we were having a meeting or something a while ago.
Oh yeah. She was streaming for like 50 people.
Yep. Yep. It's great. God. Seems like we're doing a short episode today, guys.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't have much to talk about.
Yeah. We talked about how nice it is that, Ninjas on Mixer. We're excited. Destiny got delayed.
We're excited.
We're excited for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, not much else really that's happened this week.
Kind of a slow.
Both these shows are a recommendation.
week.
There's really nothing to bitch about with them.
Yeah.
It's Vinland's still good, and the other one is, depending on what you, like in shows, it's an easy
Good or
recommend.
bad.
Like, so,
Yeah.
it's either pass because you're not gonna like gore, or you're not into like mystery type stuff, or, again, if you like stuff like Promised Neverland, give this one a go as well. Like, it was a good week. Like, it's almost to the point where I'm like, we should pick a shitty anime at some point just to give us something to bitch about.
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll have something to talk about next week anyway, though. Just because of the fact that we'll be able to compare that show to Fairy Gone.
Ah.
Which,
Yeah.
if people
okay.
remember, Fairy Gone was a very run-of-the-mill type deal.
So yeah. What was the name of the show in English that we're going to be watching next week? That is on Crunchyroll.
I think it's To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts.
To
is
the
the English name.
Abandoned Sacred Beasts. Okay.
It is on Crunchy, so
Good. No, not Pokemon Pingu. Stupid mic arm. Anyway, yeah. So
yeah,
that's gonna be
I'm pretty much out of stuff to go over.
Yeah.
So
This has been an episode.
been a short one, which is fine.
Yeah,
We've
been a
had
short
long
one.
episodes as well. So.
Oh yeah. Yep. But hey, Comfy, where can people on the internet find you?
You may want to wait till he's sitting at his desk.
I know that was the reason I did it. Anywho, so yeah, Copper, where can nerds find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Copper Lion Designs and Copper Lion Art, and you can also find me at copperliondesigns.com, which is something I just updated today with a little more work.
Cool. And you can find me. I am at mixer.com/Mr. Vengeance. Twitter and Instagram at _Mr. Vengeance. Do all kinds of fun stuff. We're going to be trying to grind through a bunch of games, and yeah, it's going to be a fun time. So yeah, I don't have enough time to do all the things I want to do, though. So hey,
What, you don't?
It is. What's that?
I said, what? You don't?
I know. I don't know. You know, maybe someday. Maybe someday. Just play TFT. I did. I was playing TFT earlier, Pingu. It's pretty fun. I was saying that I got second place, which was pretty cool. But yeah. So yeah, Mr. Comfimus has stepped away. You can find that man everywhere on the internet. Just search Comfimus. That's where he lives. He exists there. Mixer, Twitter, Instagram, Comfimus. Go say hi to him. We'll see you guys next week, where we will be watching. What was it again?
To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts.
To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts. Why can't these shows have easy names? Just once, please.
That name is pretty easy.
Is it though? Like, do you look at normal shows?
Sure.
Like, not anime? They all have really long names. Okay. You can disagree all you want. Just watch Pokemon. We're not going to watch Pokemon. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next
Digimon's
week.
better than you know it.
Up. There he is.
Up.
All right. Any final thoughts, Comfy?
Janice and that other one. It's a thought joke. No, I don't have any other final thoughts.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Have good weeks, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Goodbye.